hospital. So the majority of 5 Feet Apart takes place in a hospital, and it takes place over a short period of time because our heroine, our hero...
Good afternoon, everyone. On this Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, I've got all your news for your rush hour ride home. And there's a lot to cover. This week marks the one-year anniversary of the lawsuit between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The ongoing and contentious battle over what happened on the set of it ends. With us, a full year has passed of what many are calling a costly legal standoff. I'll share statements from both her attorney and Baldoni's attorney, then move on to updates from the Kansas City Chiefs, the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, and the governor are weighing in amid some controversy, and then we'll get into news on Christmas travel, the Winter Olympics coming up this February, and a remarkable return of skier Lindsey Vonn from retirement. Finally, we'll dive into a major bombshell with the latest batch of Epstein files, which reportedly placed Donald Trump on Epstein's plane, despite denials from the former president's team, who are now claiming it's artificial intelligence. But don't believe you're lying. I've got all these stories and more starting right now on The Rush. Before we dive into your Christmas travel plans, let's check in on Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The case still has about 5 months before trial, though there's a possibility the two could meet face-to-face soon to discuss a settlement. So, how are they doing after a year of legal battles? Attorneys Ezra Hudson and Mike Gattitel, representing 38-year-old Blake Lively, released a joint statement reflecting on the past year. They noted that 1 year ago, Blake filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department to advocate for a safe workplace following her experiences on It Ends With Us. Over the past year, she has persevered against what they describe as a billionaire-funded attempt to undermine her, her family, and her businesses through retaliatory lawsuits and an aggressive media campaign. With some lawsuits dismissed and her claims set for trial in May, Lively is reportedly more determined than ever to expose the systems that operate behind the scenes to silence and discredit women who speak up. It's a strong statement, and on its own, it paints Blake as a resilient figure standing up to powerful forces. But is she really the damsel in distress she portrays? The need for billionaire backing on Baldoni's side reflects the uphill battle in dealing with the influence and Hollywood power of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Speaking on behalf of Baldoni, attorney Brian Friedman issued a statement, acknowledging the strain of the prolonged dispute while emphasizing gratitude and perspective. He said his clients are deeply grateful for the support and kind words they've received over the past year, and they trust that the truth will ultimately prevail. He added that the care shown by supporters has been a meaningful source of strength during a challenging time. At the same time, he reminded everyone that many other global issues also deserve attention and compassion, particularly during the holiday season, and hopes the focus remains on helping those in need. So, there it is, your update on the Lively Baldoni saga, which continues to make waves online. While some content creators lean more toward Baldoni's side, legal observers have been following this case closely, analyzing it from an objective perspective. The story continues to unfold, and with trial approaching, it will be fascinating to see how it all plays out. We all have our biases, right? Recently, a content creator on the Blake Lively side has been calling her out. And honestly, it really depends which corner of the internet you get your news from. Covering the Baldoni Lively case over the past year has been wild. None of us expected it to become as massive as it has. Somehow, though my channel has managed to stay out of the direct fray, it's like a 25-car pileup happened, and we didn't even get a scratch. No subpoenas, minimal hate online, and I've been able to comment without picking a side too aggressively. Of course, people will always gravitate toward one commentator's perspective or another, but I just want to thank everyone who's appreciated my take or who discovered my channel through this case. That said, we cover more than just Baldoni and Lively. I always use the cronut example. You remember the croissant donut craze? It was huge, but a shop can't survive making only You need your standard sugar cookies, powdered donuts, the whole breakfast dessert spread. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you're limiting yourself. That's why we also cover Candace Owens, pop culture, and politics, so anyone here just for the Baldoni story might get introduced to some non-cronut content along the way. Speaking of seasonal things, let's dive into the holiday travel season. The TSA recently advised passengers not to wear sparkly holiday sweaters to the airport. I know, right? Could I get away with my outfit today? If you're flying, the best advice is to give yourself extra time and arrive early. Apparently, body scanners don't love sparkles. TSA says they don't want to dull anyone's holiday shine, but wearing a glittery sweater might slow things down. My take: wear whatever you want. Maybe it means an extra body check. But hey, that's taxpayer money at work, and who doesn't enjoy a little festive frisk? Finally, some exciting news in sports. Alpine skiing legend Lindsey Vonn is making a comeback and has officially qualified for the 2026 Winter Olympics. As a fan of the games, it's thrilling to see her back on the slopes. We'll be bringing you daily Olympic updates in February. But for now, just imagine Lindsey Vonn carving her way down the mountains in incredible. A story of determination and skill returning to the world stage on an unprecedented comeback. champion alpine skier Lindsey Vonn has officially qualified for the 2026 Olympic Games in Milan. The 41-year-old last competed in the Olympics in 2018 and, as a reminder, became the first American woman to win gold in the downhill event back in 2010. So yes, she essentially took one Olympics off, but it's still an incredible achievement. And for those of us in our 40s, it's inspiring. Philip Rivers is 44 and still making comebacks in the NFL, proving that while we may lose a little speed, we gain experience, strategy, and perspective the younger generation doesn't yet have. I'll admit, I'm sounding a little old here, but hey, that's the stuff you say to rationalize aging. Congrats to Lindsey Vonn for returning to the Olympic stage. Switching gears to Missouri football, well, kind of. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas, and the Missouri governor is understandably disappointed. It's like an unwanted breakup. You didn't choose it, but here we are. Arrowhead Stadium, built by Lamar.
What an amazing welcome.
By the way, there were like
With every game feeling like a mini Super Bowl. Moving the team raises questions about what the Chiefs will even be by the time the new stadium is ready in Kansas. This isn't just a stadium. It's a major revenue source for the city and state, and losing the team will hit both hard. We'll hear more from the mayor of Kansas City shortly. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. If you've ever panicked over running out of your last pair of contacts, 1800 Contacts has you covered. They're the only major retailer that lets you renew your prescription online and get fast, free shipping directly to your door. Free returns, exchanges, and a best price guarantee make it simple and reliable. With 1800 Contacts, you can skip the extra trips to the eye doctor and get your lenses on time, every time. You can order online at 1800contacts.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. Now, turning back to the Chiefs situation, Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas is clearly not happy and is pushing back hard against the idea that the team can simply pack up and move to another state. He said that while the Chiefs aren't gone yet and aren't moving far, today still feels like a setback for Kansas City residents, longtime season ticket holders, and lifelong fans. According to the mayor, this decision is a loss for communities like East Kansas City, Independence, and Raytown, as well as for local businesses along the route to the stadium, including beloved spots like LC's Barbecue. He emphasized that it's also a loss for the Arrowhead tradition, something deeply personal to Chiefs Kingdom. While new memories may eventually be made in a new location, he reflected on both the painful and joyful moments tied to Arrowhead, from heartbreaking playoff losses to the unforgettable experience of hoisting the Lamar Hunt Trophy there for the first time in 2020. And honestly, it really is sad, especially for the small businesses and local restaurants that built their livelihoods around the stadium and the team. After helping support the franchise for decades, they're now being left behind while ownership moves on to another state. It's a tough blow for Kansas City and Missouri, regardless of whether you're even a Chiefs fan. But let's move on, because there's another major story unfolding right now. This next one is bombshell-level news. Newly released documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein indicate that Donald Trump traveled multiple times on Epstein's private jet. If that's true, it raises obvious questions, especially given past denials. One of the newly revealed documents includes an email stating that Trump flew on Epstein's plane on numerous occasions. The sender's name has been redacted, but the title listed is Assistant U.S. Attorney, Southern District of New York. That immediately raises concerns about transparency, because redactions are supposed to protect victims, not shield government officials. When names are hidden like this, it opens the door for claims that the documents themselves aren't real. The Department of Justice, which is supposed to operate independently from the president, has now released roughly 30,000 additional pages related to Epstein. In a statement, the DOJ claimed that some of the documents contain untrue and sensational claims submitted to the FBI just before the 2020 election, asserting that the allegations against Trump are unfounded and false. They argued that if the claims had any credibility, they would have already been used against him politically. Still, they say the documents are being released in the interest of transparency, with legally required protections for victims. Trump responded by calling the revelations fake and blaming artificial intelligence, claiming this is what Democrats do to political opponents who are leading in the polls. He insisted he was never on Epstein's plane or island and warned that AI is a dangerous threat to the country, telling people not to believe what they see. The strategy seems clear. When efforts to block the release of the Epstein files fail, even with bipartisan support, then the narrative shifts to claiming the released material is fake, while anything redacted is supposedly legitimate. It's a wild situation, and one that isn't going away quietly. Independent journalist Ryan Grimm, who has been doing extensive reporting on this story, explained how his team uncovered one of the largest document releases yet. According to Grimm, the DOJ had uploaded an 8th volume of files to its website, but it wasn't indexed. By adjusting the URL sequencing, they were able to locate and download roughly 10 gigabytes of data. That information is now being organized and reviewed with the help of searchable document tools, allowing journalists to analyze the material more efficiently and piece together what's really inside these records. You can find the documents at dropsitenews.com, and they're also available at Gmail Our World. We've posted a bunch of these files and made them searchable, and we're working through the rest to get them fully accessible. Interestingly, the DOJ later took down the original link and appears to have uploaded a slightly different version. We're analyzing the changes now to see what may have been pulled back or altered. My guess, there are still people within the Department of Justice quietly working to get information out. Despite the political pressure, even with redactions, some details can still surface. Copying and pasting can reveal previously hidden content. It's a fascinating example of the work involved in sifting through tens of thousands of documents, piecing everything together to understand the truth. Meanwhile, everything from the Trump administration at this point feels like pure propaganda. Secretary Shan Duffy, formerly known from Real World, recently claimed that President Trump has given America a gift this Christmas: $500 million in gas savings. That translates to roughly $1 per person, and the average cost for a gallon of regular gas is expected to be around $2.79 on Christmas Day. The administration touts that prices are down about 21 cents compared to last year, crediting Trump's so-called energy dominance policy. But here's the real question. Why are gas prices down? Typically, they fall when the economy slows because less demand drives prices lower. So, while Americans might save a few dollars on gas this holiday season, it's only a tiny fraction compared to the larger economic picture. For example, a report from the Joint Economic Committee estimates that American households paid nearly $1,200 each in tariff-related costs from February to November alone. That's money out of your pocket to subsidize policies, including tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy. So yes, maybe a family saves $1.50 at the pump this Christmas, but it comes at the expense of much larger systemic costs. Framing this as a gift is an example of the kind of messaging used to make it seem like the economy is thriving, when the reality is far more complicated. In other news, the US economy grew 3% in Q3, surpassing expectations. The government is taking a clear victory lap, with J.D. Vance calling it great news for the country, and Trump claiming that tariffs are responsible for the strong numbers, promising even more growth, no inflation, and great national security, while adding, "Pray for the US Supreme Court." But how exactly